I am getting somewhat addicted to VRChat, and I was up till 3 a.m. last night on VRChat. You'll never see me stream it. You'll never see me make videos. Or maybe you'll see me make videos on VRChat. You'll never see me stream it, because it's very much my space, my chill out space, and I'm happy to tell you stories from it. I'm happy to tell you stories from it. There's different telling stories. Telling stories is like when you've been to a club and after the fact you're regaling people with tales of the club rather than taking a camera to the club. That's the big difference. The one's a huge faux pas, the other's just brilliant and enhances the reputation of everything that happens there. Friday was the first time I got drunk in VRChat. I show up at drinking night. The world was pretty empty. It was one of those instances that had just been started up, but a group of 4 friends dropped in. One of them was in a very drunk Scottish accent. Bad Scottish accent. He wasn't Scottish. Berating one of his friends and saying he's going to shove a vodka bottle up his ass and stuff. And I literally walked up to them talking about how he's going to wreck his rectum with booze. And these lot chatting away. It's like, booze up your butt is got to be really careful. That'll fuck you up worse than Jello shots. Which it will, by the way. You don't need a further explanation of that. It 100% will fuck you up worse than Jello shots. They found this hilarious and they were like, what the fuck? I met this bunch and they were a good bunch. They were a really, really good bunch. They met up with a bunch of their friends and one other person we picked up in public chat. And then we head into spin the bottle table, started drinking a fair bit. Getting drunk in VR is just a whole different experience. It hits you different because your senses are weird. And yeah, they're just a lovely bunch. And some of the questions that came up and some of the stuff that I learned about VRChat and that one engagement was just fascinating. I think it was up until, I was very drunk. 3 in the morning. Went through most of a bottle of cheap Tesco wine, made a bunch of new friends, and we were just chatting about all sorts. And it was absolutely fantastic time. Chatting away the night, and by the end of the night, throwing and juggling bottles behind the bar with each other. And there's nothing quite as funny as asking a drunk person in VR with cables to jump around and do a 360. Amazing that no one gets it. It's funny. Though you'll hear me say this a lot because it's been a lot on my brain with VRChat. I do wish I had a filter that when I was jumping around public worlds at least, I could say I don't want to interact with flat screen non-VR people, because the reason I love VRChat is when you jump into it, everyone else who's in VR is 100% there. Even if they are like building a pillow fort while you talk to them, they're not alt-tabbing out, they're not watching a movie on their second screen, they're not playing a video game while they talk to you. It's like, if you're speaking to someone in real life and they're on their phone and they're doing this, you can see it and you can be like, bitch, pay attention, I'm about to say something like kind of emotional or whatever. You're just there, you're present. It's really the power of VR. And I heard the funniest thing last night where someone was like, man, dude, some people take VRChat way too seriously, just like as I was hopping around the public worlds. And I was like, without even asking, I 100% knew the person was in flat. As I say, in VRChat, running across people, I had a lovely chat with some people from Brazil and one Brazilian living in Boston. That was interesting. But then eventually I found a really cozy space last night that I was chatting with a very chill crew. German teacher, a Finnish university student, a very stoned guy from Chicago. Really fun to just chill out. And it was actually the first time I understood people sleeping in VR, because we were all on beanbags and I was like on the floor most of the time. I wasn't moving around a ton. At one point I just laid back, as I said earlier the night, I'd never be able to sleep in VR, man. My headset's too much of a thing. And I literally just laid back and I was like staring at the ceiling and I'm just like, this is nice. This is really nice. And that was the point I was like, no, I probably should say goodbye and actually go to bed. I can now understand falling asleep in VRChat. I can get that now.